Roanoke, Virginia is a city located in the Blue Ridge Mountains in the southwest corner of the state, with a population of over 100,000 people. In 1882, a railway company decided to have its headquarters and workshops here, which for 7 decades has made it synonymous for railway enthusiasts from all over the world. For nearly 70 years, the Norfolk and Western has been known as the last bastion of steam in the US. They were still building locomotives until 1950, when other railroads like the UP had stopped building steam by 1944. Now, we're not talking like small industrial engines here. We're talking about some of the biggest locomotives in the world. And they were all home built here in Roanoke. Oh my giddy aunt, that thing is huge. We just caught a glimpse of 1218. The Virginia Museum of Transportation is home to a large number of historic rail, road and air artefacts, a number of which from the local area and some from further afield. This is quite an impressive museum. They've got quite a few good stuff. Like in here, they've got the cab of a Highwood SD40, which was unique to the Southern. And I've got a replica cab of 611 over there. Whole heap of other railway stuff in there, including a tribute to the Clater brothers, who were instrumental in getting 611 and 1218 back up and running. Speaking of which, let's go see 1218. Strange. Bloody hell. Norfolk and Western Class A 1218. Constructed in Roanoke's East End shops in 1943, this giant 2664 articulated was built for heavy freight and passenger work all over the N&W's giant 2,100-mile system in the eastern US. 43 of these 6,500 horsepower engines were constructed between 1936 and 1943, being the first of the company's modern coal-burning range of engines. These engines could literally do everything. Well, when I say everything, they weren't designed for high-end passenger trains, but this was. Norfolk and Western Class J 611. Also built in Roanoke in May 1950. This absolutely stunning 484 is a part of the last streamlined design of steam locomotives in North America, with a total of 14 of these 395-ton giants built for the N&W's crack passenger trains, such as the Powhatan Arrow and the Pocahontas, regularly running at speeds of 100 miles per hour. Being such a modern locomotive, the J's were fitted with roller bearings on the driving wheels, single-piece chassis, along with a 300 psi boiler pressure like the A's, and a firebox grate size of 100 square feet.
I'll show you how big this thing is. That's one of the driving wheels. The running board's up there. This thing is massive. Oh man. I've been a fan of this engine for a very, very long time. Not as long as 1218, but this one's up there too.
Sadly, however, no matter how modern the J's, A's and Y-class engines were, and how attached the management was to their home-built engines, they lost the battle to the much more efficient and cheaper diesels by 1960. The J's were withdrawn in 1959.
This yard's got some really cool stuff. Look, an old RF&P E-unit. It's all 1776, a SD45, and it's 1970s bicentennial colours. Oh, we've even got Pullman car, Norfolk and Western power to narrow car. That's cool. For memory, that coal wagon and these cars went with 611 to Buckingham Branch. For memory, I cannot confirm that.
Like this electric GG1, a small number of the N&W steam engines were set aside for display, the rest being cut up for scrap. However, while the diesels had taken over, a major change to the railroad ended up resurrecting these two magnificent locomotives. In 1982, the N&W and the Southern Railway merged to create Norfolk Southern, and with that, the Southern Steam program was heavily expanded, with the restoration and return to service of 611 in 1982 and 1218 in 1987 for mainline public relations excursions over the system, running from Florida to New York State and everywhere in between, developing a giant following while they put on a show with 70 trips a year run with both engines. 1218 only ran until 1991, when a major overhaul was required, with the intended return to service date of 1996. However, both engines and the steam program were sidelined in December 1994 by new disinterested management and a number of safety concerns. Both engines returned to the VMT in 1995 and 2003 respectively. The likelihood of 1218 ever running again remains to be seen because of its size. However, thankfully, 611 has returned to service in 2015 to take part in the NS's 21st Century Steam program, and a number of various operations since.
So, last October, this thing was running on the Buckingham Branch Railroad. So of course, being a Norfolk and Western fan, I was following basically every trip on YouTube and stuff like that. So to be actually next to 611 is awesome. I might need to get a model of one. Wow, that was absolutely brilliant. Seeing 611 and 1218, and I've got some merchandise to support the museum, and hopefully they do more trips with 611. It's up in the air what's happening right now, but might have to fly back out again. Alright, I'm going to go over to the centre of town and get some lunch, and then we're going to go do the second museum of my visit, which is the O Winston Link Museum.
On the day of my visit to Roanoke, the museum was also sponsoring a car show in the centre of town, featuring a number of impressive muscle cars.
So I'm in the O Winston Link Museum. As you notice, I've got a hat of 1218. So I'm going to have a look around the museum and I'll take you around. 6B, that's cool. Thank you, mate. Oh wow. I'm going to be spending the rest of the day in here, I reckon.
O Winston Link was a New York professional photographer, best known for his black and white photography and sound recordings of the last days of steam railroading on the Norfolk and Western from 1955 to 1960. A commercial photographer, Link helped establish rail photography as a hobby. He also pioneered night photography with a combination of glass plate photographs and flashbulbs to create some stunning images, which are incredibly well known all around the world as the best photographs of steam locomotives of all time. This museum, created in 2003, showcases the story of this incredible project. There are also a number of superb books of Link's work that are worth purchasing online, along with some documentaries about Link on YouTube.
So, I completely 110% recommend going to the O Winston Link Museum at the Roanoke passenger station, which hasn't actually seen a train or passengers through it since 1971, when Amtrak took over. But yeah, the museum is absolutely excellent, and if you're coming in like 2024, then there's a new... they're celebrating 20 years of the museum. And they're putting in new exhibitions at the moment. Like I'm literally a week out from the first one opening, which I'm bummed out about. That's all right. I'm speechless at the moment. That is the best museum I've ever been to, and I haven't even been to California State Museum yet. Oh wait, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway.
Roanoke, since its inception, has always been a railroad town. However, compared to the last days of steam in the 50s, the town is now a shadow of its former self. When the 1982 merger happened, the headquarters left Roanoke, and while the number of rail employees has dwindled in recent years, The East End shops to the east and the giant yard to the west still keeps a huge amount of traffic passing through, and passenger services returned to Roanoke in 2017 with state-funded Amtrak services. The steam excursions in the 80s and 90s and O Winston Link's photographs, however, have given Roanoke the legacy as the home of the Norfolk and Western.